My name is Kristyna Bertolone, but you can call me Coach K. I am a mental performance coach. I started my own business called Game Changers, where I work with high school and collegiate athletes, coaches, and teams on everything outside the X's and O's in sport, which when it comes down to it, it's really just like your mindset, the way that we think, how our feelings and our emotions, how they connect with, what we're doing. So it's a lot of fun to dive into this. A little bit about me. I spent the last 15 years as an educator, a physical education teacher, and a high school coach. I also coached club sports, so I was a little bit all over the place. But for the last 15 years, I've done all of this mindset stuff with my students and my own athletes. And when COVID hit in 2020, I took a chance. I started experimenting with this mindset stuff because everybody was just stuck at home, and there were a lot of athletes looking for things to do, which gave me a really good starting point to start helping athletes navigate what to do now that our sport is put on pause. So in 2020, I really started to work a lot with athletes and teams and even coaches, giving them things to do with their athletes. So probably about 6 months into 2020, I realized that this could be my full-time gig, and this is really where my passion is. So I started Game Changers, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. This week alone, I was in 4 different states with 8 different collegiate teams, and I ended yesterday with a high school girls soccer team here on Long Island. So it's been great being able to do this. I am a former collegiate athlete. I played Division II softball at Southern Connecticut State University. I did graduate with my bachelor's degree in exercise science, and I hold a master's in writing curriculum, which basically means that give me a topic and I like to do my research on that topic and then break that topic down to its most simplest form, which brings me to what we're doing today. I love this topic today of controlling the controllables because it's such a buzzword in this day and age, and people are always talking about, control your controllables or control what you can. But then I feel like we stop there. And as I am a coach, and when I was a teacher, I really realized that I had to dissect what it meant to control your controllables. Like, how can I get kids, athletes, to understand what is within their control? And then on the opposite side of that, what is not within their control? Like, what should we not be focusing on? So that's what, brings me here today. And I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you very much to Jamila and to this whole organization for even, considering me to be a part of this. The future of sport is in really good hands with programs like these, and I am just completely honored to be here. So, sorry, just a little bit for me. You can go ahead and scan that barcode. It'll bring you to all of my links. I am on social media. That's where I kind of hit a lot of my audience, whether it be coaches or athletes themselves. I spend hours a day in my DMs just talking to athletes and talking to coaches about the things that they're struggling with. So my handle is @GameChangers, and there's a few underscores at the end of that on TikTok and Instagram. I have a website. It's called areyouagamechanger.com. And then obviously you can email me at coachkgamechangers@gmail.com. But if you scan that right now, it'll bring you to a bunch of my links, and you can kind of explore and, take a look at what I got to offer. So today, controlling your controllables. As a mental performance coach, I am not here to tell you what to do. I am not here to solve your problems. I'm also not a sports psychologist. I'm not a mental health professional, but I am a passionate coach who, for the last 20 something years, I have experienced the mental game as an athlete, and then I've experienced it on the other side as a coach. And my sole vision is to empower you, my audience, whoever that may be, to kind of declutter your headspace and to kind of give you full control and to focus on the things that actually matter, the things that are going to help you become a better athlete, help you become a better coach, and just get you to where you want to be, in your career. So, like I said, I'm here to dissect the controllables for you. And I'm going to tell you right now that there are only 4 things that you can control in your day-to-day life. And I use the acronym AIM, but I spell it a little differently. I use the acronym, the word is AEEM. And I spell it like this because I'm selfish and I didn't want to, have to think of, instead of spelling it AIM, I'm just, it's my business. It's my acronym. It's my word, and I get to do what I want to do. So these 4 letters stand for your attitude, your energy, your effort, and your mindset. Everything else is an uncontrollable, meaning it's out of your control. So today we're really going to hone in on these 4 topics. And like I said, I'm going to dissect it for you to make it the most simplest form so that you can truly understand what your controllables are. Now, if you're taking notes, awesome. I'm always a big believer in being an active participant in your own learning. So please, feel free to take some notes. But this presentation can be made available to you if I don't know how we can go about that, but you can of course email me, or maybe Jamila, we can put it on your website so for people to access when they want. All right, so let's get started. Your attitude. You are in control of your attitude. Your attitude, what is it, right? It's your body language, it's your facial expressions, it's how you present yourself to the world. Your attitude is really what people see when they look at you. And most importantly, your attitude is what your coach sees, or your future coach, what they see when they're watching you perform. And it's really easy to have a great attitude when everything's going great, right? You're feeling good, the sun is shining, everything's going our way. But what happens when things aren't going your way? What happens when you make a mistake? Or what happens when things, the weather's not good, or somebody says something to you that hurts your feelings? Something that I try to explain to all the athletes I work with is your attitude lets other people know whether or not they can trust you and whether or not you are reliable. And that's really important to think about. How are you reacting and how are you responding in moments of adversity, or in moments where things don't go right for you? I am very blessed to be able to speak with a lot of collegiate coaches, and at recruiting tournaments or at prospect days. And something that coaches always say to me is they're not so much worried about an athlete's skill set, but they are looking at what happens after they're done doing the skill. So if you just did something really great, how are you acting after that? Are you high-fiving others? Are you smiling? Or, maybe do you diss other people and you don't high-five them? Or, what happens when something goes wrong? Do you throw your equipment? Do you get angry? Do you shut down? And in those moments after you perform your skill, it tells a coach a lot about who you are as a person and whether or not they want you to be a part of their program, and what kind of asset are you going to be to them? Or on the opposite side, are you going to be a liability? Are you going to be somebody that they can't trust? Are you going to be somebody that they can't rely on, and somebody who, is unpredictable? So I like to say that we are not able to control the things that happen in our life or the people we interact with all the time, but we can control how we perceive things. That means like how we look at things. We can control how we receive information, and then we can control how we react and respond to them. So where do we go from here, right? Your attitude is all about how you are absorbing the information around you, and then how are you responding or reacting. So when we respond and react in real life, we often are taking note of something called your triggers. Now, triggers are things that happen, if you're being triggered by something, you could be triggered positively. Something could happen that could cause you to smile. Something could happen to cause you to give somebody a high five or to feel good about yourself. But then other things can happen to you that cause you to be frustrated or upset or sad or mad. you have to kind of sit with those things and realize, like, what situations do you not like to be in? And I don't want you to avoid the situations. I want you to think of those situations of like, okay, I don't like when this happens. So what can I do about it? Controlling your controllables is all about having that mentality of, I may not be able to control what's happening, but I can control me. And it's a really big concept to really dive into. And if you can start really understanding that concept, oof, you're going to be a game changer. So some things that you could do when you feel triggered in like a negative way: take a breath, remove yourself from the situation. Ask for some time or some space to process what's happening and what's going on. Try to stay in the present moment. Often when we're triggered, we're thinking about something maybe in the past, or we're worried about something in the future. But we have to remember that the only thing we can control is the right here and now. I often like to remind my athletes, be where your feet are. So sometimes that's, just taking note of, okay, again, I can't change what just happened. I may not be able to control moving forward, but I can control myself right now in this moment. I want you to think of what you can do next instead of dwelling on what just happened. Being a game changer is all about that what's next mentality. All right, this just happened. What can I do about it? Oh, I can't control this, but what can I control? I also encourage athletes and coaches to journal or take a walk, to kind of clear your thoughts, or even to talk to somebody, i.e., a mental performance coach. You can also talk to a sports psychologist, a therapist, a mental health counselor, somebody that's going to help you navigate what it is that you're thinking and feeling. I hope something in that list has helped you. And to be honest, I'm somebody who struggles a lot with my own attitude. And it's taken me a long time to start to identify my own triggers and to be prepared with a response for when I am feeling like I'm in that triggered moment. All right. Oh, sorry. Okay. So the next letter was E, and that stands for your energy. You are in control of your energy. I often like to tell athletes that you are in control of the energy you bring into the spaces you walk into. I never rely on my audience for my energy, especially like today, right? I am right now just looking at myself in this little square on Zoom. There's not an audience to feed off of. So I know that I'm responsible for bringing the energy today. So I'm Italian. I'm going to talk with my hands. I like to smile. I'm a very energetic person. So this is me. And I know that I am responsible for connecting and getting across what I want to get across in a way that kind of draws people into me. You can feel somebody's energy up to 20 feet away from you. And that can be positive or negative energy. All right. But I want you to think of anytime that you've walked into a space and you've seen people and they're smiling and they're high-fiving and they're laughing, like, how does that make you feel? I hope it would make you feel like looking forward to doing what you're about to do and getting excited to be with the people you're with. But let's like flip it. You walk into a space and maybe nobody even says hello to you. Nobody greets you. Some people are, ignoring you or not doing anything. It's kind of like a weird situation. And it's like, oh, like, I don't know. I don't like how this is feeling. So I want you to just think of like the positive energy, and like positive people, they create positive results. All right. And this energy keeps us moving forwards in a very optimistic way of life or a way of thinking. But the minute I said positive, I hope that people just didn't automatically think of like, the big buzzword out there nowadays is toxic positivity, right? It's like that fake positivity. I am definitely not a fake person. I feel all my feelings and I have bad days too, but I know that my positive energy is going to be contagious. And I know that my positive energy is going to create a positive environment, which is going to result in more so positive results. So I want you to focus on real positive energy, like the stuff that helps you overcome not so great situations. Okay. And we're going to talk about what you can do right now. So I want you to think of your energy as trust, faith, excitement, your joy, your happiness, optimism. Love the word optimism. And your attitude, right? So it's what you put into the world and what you put into the people around you. So how are we going to start putting in some positive energy? First, take care of yourself. You cannot fuel up other people unless you fuel yourself up first. When I was an elementary PE teacher, we talked about bucket filling, right? You got to fill up your bucket and you got to fill up other people's buckets. Some people say you got to fill up your cup before you can fill up other people's cups. You got to take care of you. Focus on being grateful. Focus on gratitude. I mean, personally, every single day I wake up and I automatically think of 3 things I'm grateful for. And this today was one of the things that I am super grateful for. I was also super grateful for a really good night's sleep. And then I also said that I was super grateful for my bed because I have probably the world's comfiest bed, and just really happy to start my day in that way. Some people take gratitude walks, or some people journal their gratitude, or, sometimes I'm even brushing my teeth just thinking about the things I'm grateful for. Focus on being kind to others. And this one is hard because when people are not kind to us, it makes us want to be unkind to them, or makes us want to ignore them. But remember, people's actions and how people present themselves is a direct reflection of them. So if someone is being unkind, it means deep down they're dealing with something. Maybe they're not willing to share it. Maybe they don't want to share it. But when you look at somebody in that point of view, like, oh, maybe they're going through something, it kind of makes you a little bit more compassionate and empathetic. I'm not saying that you have to go out of your way to be kind to that person, but maybe understand that everybody goes through different things, and it's okay that everybody goes through different things. Positive energy is also working hard, showing up to practice and doing what you got to do. Understanding, like, yes, this is what I have to do today. It's smiling. It's giving somebody a high five. It's loving up on others. Try to think of the energy, like what you can do to kind of elevate the energy at your practice, or at a game, or even in the classroom, maybe even with your family. What are some of the things that you can do to kind of like bring it? The next letter in our acronym AEEM is E, and that stands for effort. You are in full control of your effort, and your effort is fully on you. It's not on your mom, not on your dad. It's not even on your coach. It's on you. And I'm going to tell you right now, your effort is directly aligned to your why. I often ask athletes, you should be asking yourself every single day, why am I doing this? When you ask yourself why, you're looking for concrete evidence. You're looking for an answer. People nowadays are always talking about being burnt out, being stressed, being overwhelmed. And I personally believe that we don't experience those things because of what we're doing. We experience things like burnout, overwhelmed, anxious, anxiety, stress, because we forget why we are doing the thing we're doing. So I'm going to ask you all right now, on a piece of paper, write down, why is being here important for you today? Maybe another question is, why is playing your sport at the next level important to you? I'm going to share with you my why of why I became a mental performance coach. And it took me a long time to realize this, but I became a mental performance coach because I want to be to athletes what I never had when I was an athlete. And then I flip it. I want to be to parents what my parents were to me. I had very supportive parents growing up and very motivating parents. And I want to share what they did with the parents that I deal with, in my work. And then let's take it one step further. The coaches I deal with and I work with every day, I want to be to those coaches what I wish my coaches were to me. I didn't really have the greatest coaches growing up, and I often struggled and I often blamed a lot of things on them. And it took me becoming an adult to realize that, hey, I'm in control of me. I'm not in control of other people. So I've realized that the only thing that I could do to pay it forward is to start helping and to start being the change that I want to see. So that is my why. And that's literally what gets me up out of bed every single day. So I really hope that you can dig deep and figure out your why. And then honestly, put it on a Post-it or put it on a piece of paper and hang it up somewhere. If you can see behind me, I've got lots of Post-its. I've got lots of things that remind me every single day of why I am doing what I am doing. So I encourage you to do the same. All right. If you love and enjoy something, you're going to put forth the extra effort, maybe a little bit more, that you need to be able to find success. Okay. So what can you do? Right here, your effort, direct reflection of the level of interest in what you are doing. So you can work on showing more effort by practicing your skill or your sport without being asked to do so, right? Go in the backyard, work on your feet, on your footwork. Maybe it's watching film and studying your sport. I mean, this generation, you could pull up anything on YouTube. You could Google anything nowadays. You know, you're so lucky. There's so many things out there that can help you. TikTok, Instagram, go follow your favorite athlete and see what they're doing. Or even take it one step further and DM your favorite athletes, DM your favorite coaches and ask, hey, I'm looking to put a little bit more effort into my game. What do you suggest I do? We live in an awesome world where we can connect with people that we admire. So go for it and do that. And if you're not allowed on social media, that's totally okay. But parents, just realize that like this is the world that they're growing up in. And although it's unknown to us and it might be a little scary to us, it's not to them. So sit with your child and ask them to show you Instagram and TikTok. Ask them to show you YouTube videos and get involved with them so that, you know, you can kind of support them in their effort of wanting to do a little bit more. I love reading books and listening to podcasts. Find something that's going to help you take your game to that next level. And I'm going to just really stress this one more time. Focusing on what you can control, what you can do, and working towards what you cannot is going to help you in the long run. Can you tell effort is probably my favorite topic to talk about? All right. And last but not least is your mindset. Okay. Listen, you live in your head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You, nobody else. If you are allowing other people to come in here and plant thoughts, you are basically saying you are not in control of your own life. So I'm a big believer that your thoughts become your words become your actions. Your actions are what you are showing the world. It all starts in your mind. Now, if you are someone who is who's naturally negative, or like you go to negative thoughts right away, that's okay. I want you to first recognize your thought patterns. I want you to recognize how you think, you know, how you move forward through your day, or how you move forward through really difficult things. The first thing you have to do is just recognize your thoughts. Then a really simple exercise to get started with is adding the word yet or but to the end of a negative tone sentence. So if you're naturally like, oh, I'm not good enough, or, oh, I can't do that, adding those words to the end of the sentence forces you to finish the sentence in a little bit more of an optimistic tone. So, oh, I'm not good enough. Well, let's change it to, I'm not good enough yet, but one day I will be. I'm not good enough yet, but with practice, I will be. All right. I'm not strong enough, but you know what? I'm still growing. One day I will be. So it's just kind of challenging your mind to shift your perspective, shift your thoughts into a little bit of an optimistic way so that you can kind of see that there is room to grow, not, oh, you know, I can't do this and I never will be able to, because that's just false. Okay. We're constant learners here. As a human race, we are constantly evolving. So you need to trust that process that you can learn. Just, it might take you a little bit longer than it takes somebody else, and that's okay. I'm also a huge fan in like I am statements or I am affirmations. And I'm going to tell you right now, I post phrases and sentences all around my room on Post-its to even remind myself that I am capable. I am smart. I can run a business. My new one for this month is I have mental tenacity. And that's just a fancy way of saying I have mental toughness, because as a business owner, sometimes I hit roadblocks, sometimes I fail, sometimes I make mistakes. And I have to just trust that, you know what? No, I am strong enough to get through this moment. So what are some things we could do? Here are a lot of examples that you can do in order to start getting yourself working in the direction that you want to go. So your mindset is really just a set of beliefs that shape how you see the world. And the environment that you grow up in highly influences the type of mindset you have. So also pay attention to, you know, the things that you're watching, the people that you're listening to, the people you surround yourselves with. It all plays in to how we are shaping the version of ourselves that we see when we look in the mirror. So I want you to take control of your mindset by focusing on good things and understanding that challenging situations and obstacles are all part of life. You cannot get through life just coasting. You're going to have to face adversity. And how you face it says more about you than whether or not you succeed or not, right? How you combat adversity says a lot about you and who you are. Again, practicing gratitude daily, spending time with optimistic people, practicing positive self-talk, identifying areas of negativity in your life so that you're aware of them, and then you can kind of like start thinking about what you can do about them. And then starting your day every day with a positive affirmation. You know, I am a positive being destined for great things is a good one, but here are some other examples. My favorite in this slide right here are the Post-its that I've had athletes do, and they, you know, send them to me to show me that, you know, what they're starting their day with. And then that sweet text that I got from somebody, you know, it reaffirms that like I am doing the right thing by coaching athletes on things like this, because your words, oh man, they hold such power. So start taking control of that power. Now that we've talked about the controllables, I'm going to tell you right now, everything else in life is an uncontrollable. People are uncontrollable. You can't control other people. You can't. But now think about your sport. The playing field is an uncontrollable. Your sports equipment, injury, sickness, referees, the other team, the other coaches, your team, your coaches. So many uncontrollables in life, but how many of us dwell on those uncontrollables? How many of us play the blame game, right? Like we blame a bad game on a bad ref, or we blame a bad game on, you know, our teammates or bad coaching. We all do it. I've done it. But what I want you to start shifting your perspective to is, instead of just using those as excuses, use your uncontrollables to create a solution. And I like to call this your what's next mindset. Okay. So here, and I'm not going to go over this whole slide because you can read, but there are certain steps that I want you to take. The biggest thing is to realize that it is your thought process on everything in your life that you approach that really makes or breaks you. You know, when an athlete says, oh, I'm a failure, I really want them, instead of seeing the word fail as that, I want them to see the word fail as your first attempt in learning. Can you tell I like acronyms? Big fan of them. Anytime you experience a loss, it's not a loss unless you don't learn something from it. If you don't learn anything, then yeah, you've missed the opportunity. But if you look at your loss as, what can I learn from this moment? Think about how much better you're going to be the next time you experience that same situation. And then here, everyone's afraid of something in their life. And a lot of athletes are afraid to make mistakes. But I need you to think of fear as something that you're either going to face it, you're going to face everything you experience in life and rise, or you're going to forget everything that you've worked hard at and run away. And I really hope that you take the other route. So I want you to identify your uncontrollables in life, all right? Identify the things that bother you the most. And I want you to start thinking of, what can I do about this? How can I prepare for this uncontrollable situation? Who can I go to for help with this? Or why is this bothering me so much? Those are great question starters, and they're also great journal prompts. So open up your notebook, write down that question, and just brain dump everything you can think of. And within that, you might find the answers that you need to start moving forward. Oh. 3 things I want you to start doing today. And I want you to identify your weakest controllable. And I don't want you to think about all of the uncontrollables, right? Start with one little thing. What's the most uncontrollable thing that really you spend a lot of time thinking about and dwelling on? Okay. Then I want you to do one thing to help regain control of it. So I want you to look at your uncontrollable and say, what is the one thing that I could do about this situation? What is the one thing that I can focus on and move forward with? And then 3, selfless plug right there. Schedule a call with game changers, but I also just want you to reach out to somebody, right? Schedule, time to talk with your coach, schedule time to talk with your parent, schedule time to talk with, maybe a teammate or somebody older than you that can help you. If you are comfortable with seeing a therapist or a sports psychologist or a mental health consultant, reach out, because often in life, we think that we have to go about everything on our own. And, asking for help is seen as being vulnerable, and vulnerability is seen as a weakness. But I need you to understand that asking for help is your greatest strength, because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're learning nothing. I personally have my own set of coaches that I reach out to whenever I have questions in life. I have a business coach. I have a team of consultants. I have a therapist. I have a life coach. I know the power of working with people who are a little bit smarter than me in areas where maybe I'm not so confident in. Like I said, am a big fan of journal prompts. So if you are too, here are 2 of my favorite journal prompts that I ask of my own athletes, and I actually ask of myself. Every month, I kind of look back and see what held me back in that previous month. What uncontrollable did I kind of let get the best of me? And I journal kind of like a solution for it. So when it comes to your own controllables, when it comes to your controllables, what do you already do well and where can you improve, right? So I know that my effort, my energy, and my mindset is pretty good, but like I said, my attitude is where I need some improvement. And then what are some uncontrollables that are bothering you right now, and what can you control about them? So really kind of just, again, self-reflection, asking yourself questions on a daily basis. It's going to help you become a better athlete, but it's also going to help you become a better human being. And here are just some examples of some of the things that my own athletes send me, or I do with my own athletes. Just, the power of controlling what you can, the power of having, a strong mindset or an I am mindset, and just, being aware that our words hold so much power. Now, what's next? All right, that's my favorite question that I ask. What's next for you? Well, I hope that something in this presentation has sparked your interest of taking aim and changing your own game. And remember, don't be overwhelmed by information. If you are overwhelmed, take a step back, take a breath, and pick one thing that you want to start working on right now. All right. Lots of things in life are going to be overwhelming if you try to do it all at the same time. So put a game plan in action. Start thinking about one thing you could do this month. Okay, it's only October 8th. What's one thing you could do next month? What's one thing you can do in December? And start tackling things using that point of view. So what's next for us on this Zoom is I've left some time for some questions. If anybody has any, you can just put them in the chat. Or if anyone on the panel has any questions, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. I would love to answer any questions you may have at this moment in time right now. I'm gonna pull up the chat. All right. I always also tell my athletes it's okay if we don't have any questions, because it's a lot of information to process. But maybe you don't have a question, but maybe think about what's something you want a little bit more information on. What's something that you want a little bit more elaboration on. Or, you could ask maybe, where's some place that I can go to get some more information on my mindset? Just some question starters for anybody out there that may have them. And it's okay if you don't, but we do have 10 minutes left, and I would like to be able to share with anybody. So any questions you may have at all. Right. Okay, well, if we don't have any questions, that is it for me. I am done. So I don't, oh, there she is. Awesome. Hi,
Yes,
Jamila.
I'm here.
Great. So I'm all set. And like I said, I'd love to send you that presentation so that you could post it for people to have access to it.
Okay, so we'll probably put it on the website. That was good.
Awesome. Great.
Okay. Thanks, Kristyna. Well, Coach
Thank
K.
you thank you so much. It was really awesome being here. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. Did anybody have any questions? That's final call.
Final call, and then we're out. All right. Well, thank you again, and have a great rest of the day.